very simple product. There's two ways that you can mix it. You can either mix up a water solution, which there's directions on the container, or you can just wet the surface, sprinkle it, and then scrub it. It's a little quicker, easier, and personally I like that way better. But it's a very good product. Just watch out, I don't want to get it very wet here. So you just wet your surface. Sprinkle some powder on there. And you're just going to scrub. You want to scrub across the grain. You don't want to go with the grain. Now normally when you're doing this, you would scrub it, let it sit for about 10 minutes, scrub it again, and then rinse it off.
Obviously, let it dry.
Yeah, you don't want it to dry. We don't have enough time, so I'm just giving you a quick demo of what it does. But as you can see, this teak is pretty well weathered and dirty.
The panel was literally laying out in the field
Out back, morning. Yeah. We kind of want to give you worst case scenario. Again, you would normally let it sit for about 10 minutes or so. Rinse it. Now, when you rinse it, see these little white specks here? You want to make sure that you get all those off, because if you don't, you'll get little white spots. The spots will go away, but you might think there's something going on. What's happening is they're still cleaning. So if you don't rinse them all off, you're going to get little white speckles that it takes about a week for them to fade away and blend back in. But you can see, I mean, that was quick from this to that. Yeah. There's nothing secret here. It's straight out of the container.
Why do you go the opposite way of the grain?
Because in between there's soft wood, okay? And if you go with the grain, you're going to remove that soft wood. That's why over time you get those really deep ridges. Okay?
So if you did a cap rail all around a Chris Craft, you'd have to do
well,
that.
there's sometimes sometimes you have to go with the grain. There's no other way around it. But
as much as you can.
As much as you can, you want to go across the grain. Now, we do offer, like I said, two different cleaners. We have a liquid and a powder. Don't always clean with the powder, don't always clean with the liquid. Kind of go back and forth. The liquid has a brightener added to it, so it'll help maintain that brown look, okay, which everybody likes. Now, that being said, we always recommend leave the decks natural. That's been our rule of thumb for 35 years. But everybody likes to use sealers. We have a waterborne sealer.
While he's getting the sealer ready, eventually shame on him, but one of your Chris Craft owners is going to come in with a deck that's not only dirty, but very rough and grainy, the way Rocky described it. At that point, nothing in a bottle is going to fix that. You have to get a good deck refurbishment contractor in and refresh the surface to an 80 grit finish. We use rotary equipment, 8-inch grinder. We'll work down to a 6-inch or 4-inch machine. Eventually fingertip work, under hardware and against the cabin house, what have you. Then, with the refreshed smooth surface, you can reestablish your regular maintenance routine, cleaners and the sealer.
The sealer, again, we recommend natural. But if you want to put a sealer on, it's a waterborne sealer, very easy to apply, but it's not a one-time application. It, along with teak in general, requires maintenance. So every couple months, you're going to have to either do a reapplication. You may have to strip it off depending on your environment, how much you're using it, how much, what your weather conditions are. There's a lot of things that can factor into how long it lasts. But it goes on very easy. You can just use a foam brush, a throwaway chip brush, just dip it in and just brush it on. I mean, it's not rocket science. But what we did was we designed it to look like natural teak. This is a side-by-side, one that's non-sealed and sealed. if this wasn't here, you'd think that this was just natural teak. That's what we wanted it to look like. We don't recommend oil or anything like that, so that's why we went with this route. If you do get it on any bright work or any paint, just wipe it off while it's wet. Just have a dry rag with you while you're applying it to the deck. Wipe it off, you'll be fine. If you let it dry, it takes a little scrubbing to get it off. Aside from that, any questions?
How do you strip that off if you have to?
There's a couple things that you can do. When you use the sealer, you don't want to use these cleaners. You want to use a non-pH, basically like Dawn dish soap. Okay, do a mild cleaning. Because if you use this, eventually this will start to break it down and strip it off. If you need to strip this, we do have a stripper that we can get for you. We don't market it as a regular product, but we can get it for you.
So once it's sealed, you just come back every couple of months.
As long as you get it within a window. When it starts to break down, you'll see it. You'll get like streaks where it'll start to it'll turn gray and still be brown in some spots. That's when you want to start recoating it.
But do you use that again?
You use
first
this
and
again.
then go to the 300 to clean
No.
it? Just literally just
You just want to
re-apply.
clean it with a non-pH soap, even just water with a light scrubbing, and then reapply the sealer. Just keep in mind, like I said, it's not a one-time application where you can put this on and think, okay, I never have to worry about it again. It's teak. It needs to be maintained, which is why, like Joe had said earlier, we recommend leaving it natural, because if you clean it, it's going to look like this. If you clean it regularly.
And a lot of times it's just educating your customers. If you educate them that this is what teak is supposed to look like. I mean, everybody wants to keep that fresh sanded golden look, but in reality our sealers is the easiest to use on the market, but it still adds another step and another step and another step to it. Some of your customers are going to demand that. That's the reason we came up with the sealer. But we say just keep it clean. It really just lessens the amount of maintenance on your teak if you just keep it clean. Once a month, give her a light scrub. Even when it's at your dealership, if the boat's outside, just know that it's best just to keep it clean.
And sometimes what you don't use is a lot more important than what you do use. Please stay away from harsh chemical cleaners, 2 parts acid alkali. You'll turn one of our 20 to 30 year lifespan decks into a deck replacement job for us here. We want them to last a long time. We want good value for your Chris Craft owners. And that's where the proper maintenance comes in.
You show them the business card.
Yeah, those acid cleaners, you finish using them and they're finished and it looks brown.
Yeah,
You didn't clean the
yeah.
teak.
Like
You took
proper
that
Western
much
soap.
teak off the top of the deck and dissolved it
Yeah.
and rinse it overboard. Well, what's underneath was never oxidized or dirty, so it looks clean. And people say, okay, so what? I say, well, how many times a year do you clean your decks? They say, oh, 20 times. And I say, well, that's so what? So sometimes what you don't use is the key to longevity on these decks.
Any other questions?
Thank you.